So you want to learn how to play Cloak and Dagger, huh? Fellas, how in the hell are we doing here today? If you already saw the title, then there's no need to explain this, alright? You know why you clicked on this video. You are here to learn how to play Cloak and Dagger. And I, Bound Lunar, the world's greatest support player, is here to teach you how to do that. Now some of you might be sitting there saying, who even is this Bound Lunar guy? Who are you to tell me how to play this character? Well, me personally, I've already got her lured up to level like 6,000. I've got about 40 hours played on Cloak and Dagger alone, and I've also grinded up to Platinum 1 playing her. I know Platinum 1 isn't necessarily a high rank at all, but it's still the beginning of Season 1, so the ranks are still kind of out of whack, and when I hit this, it'll still top 1%. I'm guessing it's still at least top 2, top 3% of players, so these are good lobbies we're talking about here. These are the competitive stats too real quick, so just to show you, Season 1, played about 9 hours of Cloak and Dagger. You get about 27k healing per 10 minutes, 6k damage. Pretty good stuff, you know what I'm saying? We're cooking. In terms of how everybody ranks in this game, I think Luna Snow is currently the best overall healer support character. She just does it all 1000%. But number 2 is kind of a fight between Rocket and Cloak and Dagger in my mind. Two very different healers. Like if we're talking about just sheer heal output, I think Rocket can do a lot more than Cloak and Dagger can. But Cloak and Dagger is just such more of a versatile utility character. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to be able to support the team in the same ways with a Rocket that you can a Cloak and Dagger. She's just really good. Cloak and Dagger and Invisible Woman kind of fill the same support role in my mind. We'll make a different video on Invisible Woman once we feel a bit more familiar with her. But her and Cloak and Dagger are both the same kind of utility support healers, if that makes any sense. Luna Snow and Rocket are just straight up heal bots, but Cloak and Dagger and Sue Storm, you can get a lot of outside usage. Mainly just, I mean, damage, you know what I'm saying? But also with Sue, like the push and pulls big, bit different ultimate. Look, we're getting too crazy, right? This is a Cloak and Dagger video. So Cloak and Dagger, here she is, great character, I've been loving playing her, and we're just gonna run through the kit and abilities real quick, just so you're fully familiar with how everything she does works and all that fun stuff. Starting out with her primary fire, Cloak and Dagger is just a straight up healing sentry gun, okay? It does not matter where people are, you just look and think in their general direction, and these bullets are just trained to go exactly where they are. Look. I don't know if you see the little lines right there, but I'm not even looking at this guy, and it'll just immediately start healing him. This also goes for enemies too. You see how they have the same kind of mark? Wherever the enemy is, if they're flying, if they're super fast, it doesn't matter, your bullets will trace to them. Something that people also don't realize is that these work off of walls too. So like you can bank them off a wall or ceiling or floor, and it'll still go to the target. Like look, he's not marked right now. None of them are marked, but they're still getting healed, all right? It's great stuff. I know it's not really easy to paint the best scenario here in the practice range, but this actually has a lot of use if you're just coming off of spawn. With how the maps are set up, it's kind of like, it'll section off areas to where you can't see inside the area until you're fully in there. But you don't even have to fully see the fight. As long as you can find an area to bank off into that room, I'm gonna wait for this guy to spawn. You can just kind of heal from wherever you are, which actually helps a ton because Cloak and Dagger is really slow, so coming off respawn, it takes forever to actually get back to your team and heal. So the sooner you're able to start doing that, the better. These little dots might not do the most damage because they're primarily made to actually heal the team, but if you get somebody like, say there's an enemy super low like this, you might as well start shooting at them because you can get them in like 3-4 hits. And you're just tracking their position, okay? Like if somebody's that low, they're most likely trying some evasive maneuvers trying to get out of the fight, but they cannot get away from you. You just stay on them like that, and boom. Most of the time, you can pick up some pretty easy kills doing that. All right, next up, pretty self-explanatory. She has this big old wall that she sends forward, and whoever's in the wall gets healed. Something that also might be interesting in case you're not familiar is that this wall travels 25 meters, so anything within this distance, as long as it gets hit in the wall, it'll get healed. But I will also say this is just a perfect situation right here, you know what I'm saying, where it's super open. Like say we're trying to heal through this, you have to watch out for walls or obstructions because if it hits that, it's just gonna stop right there. You have to make sure you're actually aiming in between See how it travels all the way through, but if I hit the wall, it's gonna stop right there. If I hit that pillar, stopping at the pillar. So something to look out for. If like things are going super fast and crazy, you know what I'm saying, you're in a tight room trying to split the gap, make sure you're aiming. Just because you get familiar with the size doesn't mean it's gonna keep continuing past this wall, okay? You have to still make sure you're shooting it out. That might sound like the absolute stupidest thing ever to say, but trust me, it matters. Something to be aware of. Lastly, for Dagger, she also has this big ol' heal bubble where anybody standing in the bubble gets healed. And you don't have to just shoot this on the ground either, okay? Because it's an entire sphere. Half the bubble is missing right now. If I shoot it up here, you can see how people up top and people below would all be getting healed from this. This is a bit non-practical, but makes more sense if like you put it on a corner, you know what I'm saying? It's a bit bigger than if you just shoot it right here. Kind of see the difference in them. You're able to cover more space. If you're like, say a team's pushing around a corner, you want to kind of just shoot it up there or like that, so you still kind of get the outward motion, you know what I'm saying? A lot better than just going, oh boom. The bubble really doesn't need much explaining at all, okay? You shoot down a bubble if you want some heals, but just try to think about its size. Try to maximize how big you're able to make that space, because more people are going to be able to get healed. Something you also have to keep in mind with this bubble too is that it's one of your only self-heal items. So if you're getting kind of low yourself and you need to stay in the fight, you can just throw it down at your feet and heal yourself. It's going to be way more worth it to try to keep yourself in the fight than throwing it on a teammate to save them, but you die and you're going to be out like a whole 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. If you need heals, heal yourself. Alright, so switching over to Cloak, this is going to be your main source of damage here, primarily from this primary fire. But also, we have this little shield wall thingy, kind of like the heal wall. We have a damage wall. Whoa. So when you shoot this at people, it does damage, it blinds them, and then I don't know if you see that little aura it gives them, but that's also a damage boost for your team. So the potential for this thing is actually pretty freaking insane, if I do say so myself. With this entire kit in full effect, you are comfortably able to pick up straggler support characters or even DPS characters if they get pulled away from a fight and away from their team. I mean, the potential is just endless. Cloak also has this E ability called Dark Teleportation, and this is going to be your main source of like getting out, or like say this is like your main get out of jail free card, okay? Every support character kind of has something to help them like get out of the situation if they're getting dove on or things start to get bad, and that's what this is for Cloak and Dagger. Your E. So you enter the void area pretty much, and you have this giant circle encompassing you. Any teammate that's in the circle goes invisible with you, and they don't take any damage as long as they don't attack it. And also when you're in this state, you're able to float up or levitate, so you can take a different position in a fight or get away from somebody chasing you, different things like that. A lot of use. What people also don't realize with this ability is that it can actually completely save your team from any sort of ultimate, as long as it's like extremely coordinated and you're like stacking with your team essentially. If your team knows what they're doing and they don't attack during this void phase, say Iron Man's about to drop a bomb on us, say Doctor Strange is coming to Agamotto us, as long as you can time the E ability with the impact of that ult, anybody in this area is getting saved. Nobody's dying in this. Most Cloak and Dagger players really don't realize that, and it's actually extremely hard to coordinate unless everybody's on the same page. But it is really helpful to know, and it can save you, or your friends at least, from multiple bad situations. Like maybe you're not fully six stacking, but you got a couple of your friends, okay? You're playing with in quick match, having some fun. As long as they know, hey, stick by Cloak and Dagger whenever we hear an ult or something like that, they'll be safe. Alright, last but not least, we gotta talk about Cloak and Dagger's ultimate. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but it did get a buff here in Season 1 where they added one extra of that little dash animation, which is actually pretty helpful, I'm not gonna lie. It makes a bit of a difference. I don't really like the ultimate because half the time people don't even know it's on the ground, and it also doesn't last that long, and you're not really able to cover as much ground with it as you can, say, a Mantis or Luna ult. To even get like the most use out of it, you have to keep stacking these dashes because it keeps, every time you stack it, it keeps boosting the damage and boosting the healing output from it. I will say though, as a positive, is that Cloak and Dagger gets her ult considerably fast, like a lot faster than most of the other supports, so you're able to have it a bunch during the game. and it can be used for multiple different situations, whether that's defending your team against an ult or trying to progress your team's position. I'll try to throw up a clip of me using an ult in an actual game now so you can kind of see how I typically like to use it. This first clip will just be like I hear an ult and then I want to protect my team, so I'm immediately throwing it down on their position just to try to keep everybody safe. I might not be able to tell everybody that it's here, but I'm just trying to cover as much ground as possible because anybody that's in there is going to be good. And then in this clip right here, this is actually me using the ult offensively. So I'll drop a couple stacks on my team just to make sure they're super healed up, and then I'll immediately start charging the enemy's backline with it. So I'll try to get as far in there as I can, and then I can stand in that ult and be fully safe to attack or whatever. So I'll switch to Cloak and I can start attacking their support characters with a damage boost, and I can actually throw an extra damage boost by throwing the Dark Veil at them. It's really good. You just have to make sure you're timing your escape. You have to know when that ult is gonna cancel out or you're going to be free food for anybody sitting there. One thing I will say too, do not be this Cloak and Dagger, alright? If there's anything you learned from this video, do not be this person right here. If you see all this stuff going on in front of you, just run away, dog. Let the team reset. Something you have to watch out with this ult ability too is that I get killed out of it a considerable amount. If there's someone on the enemy team with any sort of aim whatsoever and they're playing like hella Hawkeye, it doesn't matter. I can just get straight sniped out of the dash. I don't know if you guys like see after the dash how there's like that little half second where you just kind of wait there. Yeah, while you're just standing there completely free, like people will straight drill you out of this ult. It's definitely something you got to watch out for. Whenever you're placing this thing down too, offensively or defensively, even if you're just trying to heal the team, your last dash should always be towards the enemy to just create extra space, and then you can also use this damage boost to just try to hurt people. Next up, in terms of team up abilities, she really doesn't get anything at all. Moon Knight gets that little shadow veil thing you see right here. Do it again. Yeah. So he gets this little thing where he's invisible in that circle. But the only thing you really get from the team up is a boost in your overall healing percentage, which is kind of cool, but not an ability. So just something to know. So in order to properly use Cloak and Dagger, you want to be healing your team, obviously. That's your #1 goal. But with Cloak especially, you want to be trying to deal damage wherever possible whenever you see that. So with Cloak and Dagger's abilities, you actually kind of get yourself in a rhythm where you're like just constantly throwing them out any chance you get. So say this is a game of convoy here, my team is pushing towards the position we just started. I'm going to instantly throw down my circle on the convoy, on the tanks as we walk up. Or I might even throw it like a little bit in front of them so they're still progressing and then they walk into the heals. So our team's position is still moving forward. So in order to fully show you how to effectively use this kit, I'm gonna have to go into an actual game and kind of explain what's going on. But like I kind of mentioned at the beginning, Luna Snow, you use reactionary to the fight, but Cloak and Dagger, you just want to use all of her abilities at all times whenever you have them to be maximizing the damage and heals. So we'll use this as like a little practice scenario right here, okay? Say the game just started, my team's pushing out. I'm instantly going to throw this down to establish the team's point. They can stand here and get heals and hopefully not get backed out of it. Sometimes I might even throw it in front of my tanks so they have to walk up and further establish our position, but then they're also getting healed so everything's okay up here, just to kind of help advance the team a little bit. So once that's down, typically there's still a lot of damage going on, so you might throw out your wall too. With that, you want to make sure you're healing as many people as possible too, because it'll pass through however many teammates are there. After you've thrown out both of your healing abilities, if the team seems like they're pretty comfortable for a minute, like nobody's red bar about to die, you can quickly switch to Cloak, do some damage if you want, or just throw out the Dark Veil and then go back to healing. Just by throwing that out alone helps your team a considerable amount because they're going to be playing off the damage boost that you just did, and it also damages them in the process. So you can get some free damage in while also boosting the damage that your team's doing, and then you're still just right back to the heals. And typically by the time you've thrown your Dark Veil out, your other abilities will be ready to go. So you can get right back to throwing the bubble out, maybe advance the position if need be. Okay, people need more heals, throw out the wall. And then by the time you've done all that, everybody's good, boom, you've got Dark Veil again. Throw that out. And then heal again, okay. And then by that time, boom, have another bubble. Maybe another wall. Keep healing. Oh, boom, Dark Veil again. This might not be the best explanation, but hopefully you can kind of see how we're just getting into a flow of using all these abilities, because they respawn so fast and it just hurts your team holding on to it, honestly. You want to make sure you're using these as much as possible. Oh, back to bubble, sweet. Everybody's good. Oh, we need some more, boom. Oh, Dark Veil's back up. Alright, that's enough playing around with the bots, fellas. Let's jump into a real game here, and let me show you a bit better what I'm talking about and how to use this kit more effectively. Alright, so here we are in the replay. We got a GM game of Convoy here. Pretty much everybody besides me, because I'm a loser, is GM in here. I'm not going to go through this entire game. I just want to kind of cherry pick some specific moments to show you how I'm using the kit and things like that. So we're going to start out here showing you the offense on Convoy. And I just want you to kind of see how I'm using all of her abilities all at once, just to kind of get the most heals or damage boost out as possible. So boom, we already got the bubble out, just making sure everybody's topped off. Then we'll send out the wall. Then we'll also send out our damage wall, make sure everybody's good. And then by now we're getting our bubble again, so we'll throw the bubble. And then pretty soon we'll get our heal wall again, so we'll throw out the heal wall. Trying to hit as many people as possible. I was like looking at the Wolverine solo. I'm not just going to throw out the wall to a solo Wolverine. I'm going to back up a little bit and try to hit everybody. And then I didn't throw out my damage wall again because we got the point, didn't need it. Just gonna make sure everybody's topped off to push the payload. So coming out of here, I wanna try to establish this hill because it's hard to fight up. So I'm gonna throw out just everything I can. And then I just got my ultimate, so I'm also going to pop that just to kind of take all that space up there. So this is an offensive use of the ultimate ability, and anytime you pop the ult, you just want to immediately go into damage mode with Cloak. If your team's not stupid, they'll know that they get healed in your ult and they'll just stay in there and stay healed, and then while that's going on, you don't have to worry about healing them. You can just try to do damage. This right here was also something pretty cool I wanted to show real quick. So Star-Lord's gonna pop his ult, and then Luna's gonna pop hers in reaction to save everybody. But as you can see, your boy is caught out, alright? So Luna's running straight away from me, and then I have no way to heal myself, and Star-Lord's just raining down on me. But we have that get out of jail free card. So I switch to Cloak, I just go into the void, don't take damage, and you can flow over to the ult, and we're saved. Obviously that's extremely situational, as this game is, but that's how you should be thinking about that E ability. As a get out of jail free card, get away from damage, get away from enemies, things like that. This was also something I just wanted to show you, like I was talking about in the practice range. Coming off of spawn, you might not be able to see the fight, but you can still send healing in the direction of the fight by bouncing it off the wall. It might not have been hitting them in that exact moment, but trust me, they do land a good bit. It was just because the team started pushing so far ahead. Alright, so here I just wanted to show you another great use of her ult. Alright, our team's kind of bottlenecked right here, not able to get around the corner. But I'll walk up with the ult and just, our team completely blows past all of this entire room right here. So I'm throwing out all my abilities before popping this, just so they're all on respawn. And then I'm immediately diving their backline with my ult. Gonna go damage because everybody should be able to get heals off of what I just placed down. And then off this established space, I'll create more space by throwing my bubble ahead for the tank to stand in. And we just flew into this room. Didn't even necessarily get a whole lot of kills, but because of the presence that ult makes and how much stronger your team is with it, it just completely backed up the enemy team. Something else I wanted to say is that Cloak and Dagger's ult is really good for securing checkpoints in Convoy, because if your team is like bottlenecked, just about to get the checkpoint, but you guys can't get past the enemy team, you can throw that ult all over the checkpoint area and even past that to push the enemy team back and give your team a free capture. Because the enemy team isn't going to want to sit there and fight in your ult, or they're going to die anyways. This right here too is something I kind of want to highlight. So Wolverine just dove Hulk back into our team, so he's kind of defenseless. This Hulk ends up ulting out of it, but anytime you see this, you should also make it a priority to just switch to Cloak and help out getting that kill. we die here, but just think of that, okay? Like, if a Bucky pulls somebody in, a Wolverine pulls a tank in or something, you should also try to think about helping out the team finish off that kill, unless somebody is a 5 HP about to die. With the ultimate, you have to know what other type of healer you're playing with to kind of know what support they're going to be able to give with their ultimate too. So if it's a Cloak and Dagger playing with the Luna Snow, she's also going to be able to save a team from a fight by using hers, so you don't necessarily have to solely rely on your ult to save the team and bail them out. If, like, specifically if I'm playing with the Luna, I try to make the Luna save the team, and then Cloak and Dagger can use her ult more offensively to progress the team's position or push the enemy team back. But if need be, you can use the ult to save the team. I'm not really going to try to explain using the ult defensively because it's pretty self-explanatory, but to just wrap up the VOD review part, I'm going to show you the end overtimes, offense and defense of this convoy. Not talking, just so you can kind of see the gameplay play out. You can kind of see what I'm doing, thinking, because it might be a little much me like commentating over all this. Might be a lot to take in. All right, this is the start of the defense round. These are both pretty quick. It's only going to be a couple minutes, but you might get a better idea of how I'm using this kit or what's going on in an actual game situation just from this full uncut fight. So I'll let it play out. All right, now we'll get into the offensive side of this overtime and just let it play out and you can see what's going on. Alright, so that concludes our VOD review. I'll show the leaderboard of that game if you want to see. 56,000 heals, 11k damage. This right here is honestly a beautiful stat line for Cloak and Dagger. You definitely want to be bumping out those heals, but if you're able to get some damage in as well, this helps the team tremendously. And most supports that play at this level understand that too. They're able to do it. But Prioritize those heals, you know what I'm saying? Get them heal numbers up. So that's about it for Cloak and Dagger, fellas. She's really not the hardest character in the world. She's really easy. You just have to remember that all these abilities exist, and you have to throw all these out, use them at all times whenever you can to maximize your kit. I think that's gonna about do it here for this video though. I'm out of things to talk about, and if you don't know how to play Cloak and Dagger by the end of this, then go do damage or something, or go play Rocket Raccoon, because that boy really takes no skill. But yeah, that's gonna do it here, fellas. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because I will suck your toes. I'd appreciate it so much. Also, if you have any like questions or comments, if I like left something out that's a helpful tip, or you have a question about how something works or anything like that, definitely leave it down in the comments below, because I would love to hear it, and I'd love to try to help you out if I can. I'm going to be trying to do a video like this for every support character, because I play them all, they're all really fun, and it's what I do best, alright? If I'm playing a game like Marvel Rivals or Overwatch, your boy knows heals. That's what I do. But alrighty, fellas, that's going to about do it here. Take it easy, have yourselves a good one. This has been Lunar, and welcome to Bound.